Good to go? Cool. All right, guys, so I'm not going to be here, obviously, as you can see today, but I wanted to give you some instructions on how today's activity is going to work. When you guys came in today, hopefully you noticed that these index cards were nice and neat on the front table here. There are 25 of them, although question 11 we don't have is actually up on the board. So you'll see that there, and you can use that when you get to it. But what's going to happen in a couple of minutes is you guys are going to dig deep into the Constitution. It is our job here in New York State to figure out what the heck the Constitution really says and what's inside of it. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to partner off in a couple of minutes, not yet. When you partner off, you and your partner are going to be coming up one at a time and grabbing one index card. One index card. I don't want you taking 4 index cards back to your seats. Just take one. And when you grab that index card, you're going to see that there is a question written on that index card for you to answer. All right? And you and your partner are literally going to have to go into the Constitution. I'm going to show you in just a second where that is. You and your partner are going to have to go into the book, in the Constitution, and try to find the answer for this. If there are 25 questions, 23 of them are pretty easy to find the answer. A couple of them you're going to really have to dig deep. I will tell you that if you are totally stuck and you can't find it and nobody else around you can find it, it is okay to skip that question. All right? So slowly, carefully, you're going to come up, you're going to grab one of these questions, take it back to your seat, read it, and you and your partner can try and find the answer. I do not want this to be a race. You do not need to try and get 25 questions done in one day. That will not happen. It's going to take you a little while to do this, and we have time on Monday as well to do this. So this is not homework. But really what it's designed to do is get you into the Constitution and figuring out what did the Founding Fathers actually write in the Constitution. Well, I keep saying in the Constitution, and the way that we're going to do that is in your textbooks, the Constitution starts on page 228 and 229. I'll have the page numbers up on the board so you'll be able to see it. Now the cool thing is the textbook divides the Constitution up pretty easy for us to read. The Founding Fathers divided the Constitution up as well into several different parts called articles. So you're going to see that there are article numbers in blue written right here. So there's Article 1. If I turn the page, a couple of pages, Article 2 is listed right there. Each article represents a different branch or a different function of our government. For example, Article 1 deals with Congress, how we talked about today when we did the compromises, or yesterday rather, the compromises. Legislative branch is Congress, so that's going to be talking about the House and the the House of Representatives and the Senate, all in Article 1. When you get to Article 2, and it talks about the executive branch, that's the President and Vice President and their powers. Article 3, which is found on the next page, that is the Supreme Court, the judicial branch. So if you're starting to see questions about the Senate and the House of Representatives, chances are you're going to be looking in Article 1. Now the cool thing is, when you pick up these questions, because I'm a nice teacher, you'll notice at the bottom, I wrote down the article number where you're going to be able to find the answer to this question. So let's say, for example, that you and your partner go up and you pick question 6 to start with. Question 6 says, how old must one be to be elected to the United States Senate? So when you read these questions, you're going to see key words inside of the questions that are clues to direct you where to look. So for this one, I'm going to look for how old somebody has to be, but the key word is Senate, the United States Senate. So I'm looking at article number 1. So if I took that back to my desk, I'm going to look at article number 1, and I'm going to look for where it says the Senate, because that's the key word. So section 1, you'll notice that the articles are broken down into sections. This one says the 2-house legislature, doesn't really say the word Senate in the title. This one, section 2, says the House of Representatives. I don't want that. But if I skip down to section 3, that's where it says the Senate. And if I look in here, in the first paragraph, it talks about a term. And if I look closely, it tells me how long somebody has to fill or be in the United States Senate. That's not the answer I'm looking for. I'm looking to see how old they have to be. So I'm going to go to the next one. It says filling vacancies or filling in spots for the Senate. I'm not going to use that one. But if I turn over to the next page, section 3, clause 3 says qualifications, meaning what do you need to do to be in the Senate. So if I read there, it says no person shall be a senator who shall not have attained the age of 30 years. So what that means in fancy language is you have to be 30 years of age to be in the Senate. So what I would do with that answer, once my partner and I found it, is the sheet of paper here where the answers are going to go. Hopefully you pick this up on your way in. If not, you can grab one in just a moment. But you'll notice here that the questions are numbered. I want to make sure that I'm going to go down to question number 6. But I also want to make sure that I write down in this column what article did I find that answer. So in this case, I would write Article 1, and then what section did I find it in? If I look back in the book, qualifications were Section 3. So I'm going to write Article 1, Section 3 right there. Then I have to put my answer in there. If I simply say 30 years of age, that's no good. Because when we go to the activity that we're going to be doing next week on Tuesday, you absolutely have to write a complete sentence. Otherwise, this will make no sense to you. So what I need to write down is the age, or you must be 30 years of age to be in the United States Senate. I have to write that down as a full sentence. Otherwise, if you just write down 20 years of age, 25 years of age, we're going to have no idea what that is. That could be the House, it could be the Senate, it could be Congress, it could be presidency, whatever. You need to be very specific in how you write out your answers. And one of the things I'm going to ask the substitute teacher to do is to make sure they go around to make sure you're writing out that the Supreme Court has the power to do this, or the executive branch has the power to do that. You have to write these incomplete sentences. That is my number one takeaway for you today, is to make sure that when I come back on Monday, I want to make sure that you have these written in complete sentences. Again, you're not going to get them all done today. When you're done with question 6, you will send your partner back up here. You're going to put this back in the right order that it was in. And then you can come up and grab another question, take it back to your seat, and again, try to look. Now, the easy thing to do is say, my hand's up, I have no idea what the answer is. Well, this is a treasure hunt. You have to try and find the answers and search for them. I know in years past, kids have wanted me to come and try to find it for them. You have to literally take your finger and look for different answers. Again, if you're totally stuck, you can ask maybe someone to come around and help you that's already gotten the answer. Otherwise, it becomes you and your partner's responsibility to try and find that answer. So here are the questions. Make sure, again, you're writing the answer in the right one. If you're not starting on number 1, make sure you're putting the right answer in at what question it is. They go over on the back, and there's 25 there as well. As I mentioned, 11 is up on the board. And if you get to one that you can't find, it is okay to skip it, but do your best to try and find that answer. My guess is day 1 of this today, you probably can get anywhere from, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 done. Maybe you get 5 or 6 done. I don't know. We'll have more time on Monday, so don't stress out about it. But try and get as many done as you can using the textbooks. So at this point, if you have any questions, you certainly can ask the teacher that's in with you. But also, you're going to need to grab a textbook, and you can open it up to page 228 and 229. Good luck, and make sure you're doing everything as I mentioned in complete sentences, and I will see you on Monday. Thanks, guys.